parking lot of where we call Veterans Memorial Park. And they'll be up for Veterans Day. And they should look very nice.
Okay, jump up to number 3, public comment. I'll ask that you state your name, address, and we'll give you the 3 minutes.
Yes, Terry Hughes, 102 Capitol Drive, and my comment concerns scheduling. When you indicated you're going to do the wastewater treatment plant, the costs were based on not going into the winter. It appears from your statement that basically it's not going to be finished until the winter. So I don't know what's occurring on that. Is there any issues on that? Or is there, do they get a reward for getting within the time frame, or they have a penalty if they don't, or what?
Currently, the wastewater plant is 85% complete, as it says here. They're going into their 3rd winter on that. It's supposed to be completed last April. So we are behind schedule, but under cost right now.
Under cost. Okay, the second question is also scheduling. We always scheduled the paving and the milling so that you didn't have to worry about the school buses. I mean, you have to schedule this in April to make sure that you get the trucks for the asphalt, get the milling. Obviously, Washingtonville didn't do this, and Washingtonville also, I'm rather amazed that you didn't use cameras or something like that to check all the pipes underneath Decker Drive. I guess fortunately you had a collapse, so you knew something happened. And the other question is, what did you replace it with? Did you replace it with ductile iron or more corrugated pipe?
We replace it with the HD PE pipe.
Pardon me?
The high density pipe. High density pipe. That's what
High density polyethylene?
was replaced with.
HDPE. And what?
We did camera our sewer lines. We did not camera the stormwater.
These were stormwater lines,
They're
okay.
strictly
And
stormwater.
what's the schedule on the HDPE?
I believe, I don't know offhand.
Schedule 80, Schedule 1?
I will have to look.
I mean, because otherwise you've got weight on it all the time and it's underneath the road. You're going to have fatigue and so forth, so normally you want at least a Schedule 80, if not a Schedule 160 on that.
Thank you.
I'm finished.
Thank you.
Jason Kramer, 98 Capitol Drive. Just two quick questions. Regarding water taxes, I know there's been talk about that changing for 2020. I was just wondering if there's a
Water what?
water taxes
Okay.
for residents. I was just wondering what the ETA might be about an announcement about what that rate might be of when that's going to be announced.
We had a discussion briefly about the water situation, the fees. That's all it was, a brief discussion. We're still under the discussion. We'd have to go to public hearing before we decided what we needed to do. I do know that the bond for the wastewater plant will equal, we need to pay back the bond $450,000 a year. So somehow we have to come up with that money, whether it be facility fee and not touch the water or sewer rate, raise the sewer rate but not the water rate, because the sewer is based off water. That will choke the water revenue. So these are all options that we have. We do have an engineering company on board right now, coming up with solutions to this problem that we have to address.
Okay. So do you know when the bond expires?
30 years from now, when we start. I made 2 small payments to EFC. That's the Environmental Facility Corporation. So we already started paying back some money off the
Right.
loan. We have a low interest loan, a no interest loan, and a grant.
Okay. Thank you. And then also just one other question. So as comment before about the recent projects, on Ahern, et cetera, Decker. That also was a bond, or was that a band taken out for that
We
project?
will be taking out a ban for that project.
Okay.
We sat down with our financial people. In that ban is going to be the cost of all the equipment that we purchased for the DPW, the loader, backhoe, excavator, and trailer.
Is the
skid
sweeper in
steer.
that too?
Yes, for the snow and also air compressor.
Yeah,
And the sweeper as well, or is that
the
separate?
sweeper is separate.
Separate, okay.
It's been paid for.
Yeah. Okay. And is there, so that hasn't been taken out yet, so we don't know what the terms are gonna be, anything like that for that project?
No, right now, we have, if you're reading from this village roadwork and sewer update, right now, we have a bond that was taken out in 2006 in the amount of $1,414,000. It's still not paid off. We are looking to have that paid off within the next 2 years. So it'll be 1 year of paying both bonds. We're looking for, the board has given me authorization for a $2 million bond for the roads. At this point, we probably just need just over $1 million, and that's all we will take. Come next year, we look to pave 3 more roads at least. We will be taking out some more bonds. Right now, our infrastructure is horrible. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the other, going back to the wastewater treatment plant, is the DEC consent order ended now? Or is it still going on, or the DEC has come in to determine that the wastewater treatment plant meets standards and for its speeds permit and so forth?
The DEC happened to come today and was very pleased over the progress that we've made on the plant. It's my understanding that the consent order will remain in effect until complete,
The consent order will remain in effect
till the wastewater plant is completed. I know that's what I would do. We're gonna
Until it's
keep you on the
completed and-
consent order
and
until
it's
it's.
gone through its trial run. There's going to be a trial run of it to make sure that as completed, it's going to meet the design parameters.
Right now, our SBR tank, the sequester batch, is up and running. We're in phase 2 right now. We're combining phase 2 and phase 3. So like I said, we're behind schedule. Unfortunately, it was due to be completed in April.
Through the what?
It was due to be completed last April.
Uh-huh.
We're looking at December for completion. At that point, then the DEC will be called in, I'm sure, and take it from there. That's all our engineering. It's up to our engineers when they're ready to have the DEC come in to make
They're
sure.
going to have a trial run though, and are you going to have an independent person confirm that the actual wastewater treatment plant meets the standards that were in the design documents? Or is the DEC going to do that?
I'm hoping the DEC does that, okay? Being that they regulate everything down there.
Yeah,
But
but normally
then-
they use independent PE to certify that.
DEC's
Now, the other
right.
question is, the other issue comes down to the amount of, Village of Washingtonville had a ton of, no pun intended, of volume, speeds volume violations. What is the volume coming into the wastewater treatment plant now? Now the summer's over, you should see a little increase.
It's gonna increase, Speedy's permit will be 850.
That I know. What is coming in now?
It varies from day to day. It's gonna
What's
change.
the mean?
I don't know. I don't have that answer for you.
Well, but you have to file the speeds. You have to file the speeds and sign them off, right? So
Yes,
you should know what they are.
the engineer will determine,
No.
will tell me that.
No.
The mayor,
The
that's
mayor,
not in
the
the
mayor
mayor's
should be
job.
signing the DREs. That is a very poor practice to allow an engineer to sign off on the DREs.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good, Frank. Frank.
Fran Orphanodakis, 105 East Main Street. I'd like to know if there is any update regarding the violations of the easements, the drainage easements in of the surrounding properties of my
There's
home?
no update, like I texted you yesterday or the day before, that we still have not received the drainage plan for the areas that you're mentioning right now.
So there are no permits or plans?
I do not have a drainage plan that we,
Excuse me?
No, we have. You know, hands, no.
How long is this going to go on?
I spoke with Dio last week, okay? And he's working with his engineer on getting us the plans,
I'd like to be on the agenda, and I'm very unhappy that I was taken off the agenda today,
okay?
because this is an ongoing issue. So I'd like to be on the agenda each meeting until this is remedied, because this is an ongoing issue.
Okay.
I'd like to be on the agenda each meeting.
Well, I think we did an exemption once for the work session, but we're not gonna keep doing it.
Excuse me?
We did an exemption once for a work session, that we never have everybody on the agenda for work session.
But I could be on the agenda for the village meetings.
Well, you're getting your say now, so you
I'd
have
like
to
to
be
be on
listed
the agenda, that's not the same as being in the comment section as agenda.
It's up to the board, but I don't see a difference. Yeah, I don't see a difference.
I see a big difference.
I don't. Any other comments?
So is there any deadline here for the person that violated all these properties? Is there a
A
deadline?
deadline has not been set.
Can we please get a deadline? It's been going on so long. I've
It's been going on
submitted,
since 2003.
Mayor, I submitted incidents reports for several years now. They were never addressed. Okay? I think if it was anyone else, the order would have been stopped. The work would have been stopped if it was anyone else without a permit. So I think it's unfair for me not to get any answers continuously. It's gonna be winter, ground is frozen, where's the water going to go? And I keep asking the same questions, it's
I
going
know.
on for years, it's not fair that I have to keep on coming and putting in paperwork and not being heard.
When we get the drainage plan, we will meet.
I'd like to know if there's going to be a deadline.
Right now, there is no
Typically, there's a
deadline.
deadline for people.
I
They have to have permits that are violated,
I
that
will
have
put a
violated.
deadline on the parties involved.
Excuse me?
I will put a deadline on the parties involved.
And what will that be?
What is the next work session? The next regular meeting? November 19th will be the deadline.
Thank you.
Thank you, next.
Sean?
Sean Hagerty, 4 Belvoir Drive. Two things. One is, on Decker and Pilgrim, where they paved right over a water shut-off that didn't have a cap on it. So now the pavement is down in the shut-off, so you need to clean that out.
Decker and,
Pilgrim. The other is the new pipe they put in at Ahern. Did they shoot an elevation on that to make sure it's low, so the water will flow out instead of higher? And flooding the,
you're talking about the storm drainage?
Yeah,
There was a laser all day long.
it looks pretty high. Maybe it looks, you know.
Yeah.
As long as it's not gonna, you have to raise the dog park anymore, you're fine.
We'll know how it works Wednesday, tomorrow.
Good point.
Tom DeVento, 7 Maple Court. The fees, you mentioned fees at the dog park. What does that encompass?
Yeah. The fees for village residents bringing their dogs?
I guess that's, yeah,
And-
so let my dog in, there'll be a fee?
Yes. Not each time. but
You have to register your dog.
You have to register your
An
dog.
annual fee,
An annual fee? How much will that be?
15 for residents and 30 for non.
All right. Also, your comprehensive zoning meetings that you're having. Is the zoning board invited to these? Because I know a couple of members on the board,
Everyone's
Everyone's
invited.
invited.
Everyone's invited.
but are they aware of it, I guess is the question, because,
The one member tonight, actually, we have 3 members.
In the zone.
okay. I don't think the other members know, so I don't know, maybe an email can be sent out, because I know one is at another meeting, and the other person, I could be almost assured is not aware of this, of the meetings.
Well, for understanding, those meetings are open to every resident in the village of Washington.
Well, okay. Partly, those meetings just started to get onto the website now. There
'Cause we just
were,
started.
there were other meetings that had occurred that weren't on the calendar at all. And just to put them on the website for something that is wide open as zoning and what the plans are, I think more than just sticking it on the calendar would be in your interest and everyone else's interest to have the input early on, so when it comes to the public hearing, you don't have 2 trains running into one another in disagreements about what you decided is gonna happen and what the audience now is thinking. So, using our telephone system, using something